Support for Louisiana, the state we're in, is provided by
Entergy Louisiana is strengthening our power grid throughout the state. We're reinforcing infrastructure to prepare for stronger storms, reduce outages, and respond quicker when you do need us, because together we power life.
Additional support provided by the Fred B. and Ruth B. Ziegler Foundation and the Ziegler Art Museum located in Jennings City Hall. The museum focuses on emerging Louisiana artists and is an historical and cultural center for Southwest Louisiana. And the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting, with support from viewers like you.
Coming up on Louisiana, the state we're in, we're introducing the newest member of our team, and we'll be taking a look at the start of college football season. All that in just a minute, so stick around. Hello everyone, I'm Karen LeBlanc. We'll bring you our big announcement in just a moment, but first, a look at the news. Registration for the next round of state grants to strengthen homes against storm damage opens later this month. The state will hold a lottery to hand out grant money from Louisiana's Fortified Roofs program. Applications open September 18th and close the 20th. Now, instead of operating on a first-come, first-serve model, the state will randomly select 300 applicants to receive $10,000 each in grants. The lottery is open to people in the state's coastal zone, which includes most of South Louisiana. You can learn more and apply at ldi.la.gov/Fortify Homes. And the matriarch of a New Orleans political family and former LPB Louisiana legend has passed away. Sybil Haydel Morial. She was a civil rights activist and the widow of New Orleans' first black mayor, Dutch Morial. She was also the mother of former New Orleans Mayor Mark Morial. She founded the Louisiana League of Good Government, which helped black people register to vote. She championed an African-American pavilion at the 1984 World's Fair and held numerous positions at Xavier University. Sybil Haydel Morial was 91 years old. Funeral services have not been announced at this point. Well, now on to our big announcement. Okay, so for many of you, he is a familiar face in sports news, and for others of you, he might be a new face. Well, we are so excited to welcome Victor Howell to our team, a seasoned sports journalist who will be joining us as a regular sports contributor. And we're timing his introduction in tandem with LSU's first home game of the season this weekend. Yay, Victor!
It's great to be back with you. Great to be back with you. Yes, Karen and I spent years together in a previous life here in the news business, cutting our teeth together. And it's great to be here with you and to be with everybody with LPB. We certainly have a lot to talk about now with football season, but we all know the state of Louisiana is so good with sports, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, outdoor living, whether it's hunting, whether it's fishing, there's horse racing, so many great stories throughout the state. And we look forward to bringing many of those to you right here on LPB. It will be a lot of fun indeed. But yes, we have a lot of football happening right now.
Okay, well, Victor, for those that are not familiar with you, tell us a little bit about your sports background.
So I've been in Baton Rouge since I transferred. I played college basketball at Tulsa, transferred to LSU back in the late 80s and finished school there at LSU. My wife and my 4 girls. I have a sophomore in high school and identical triplet girls in middle school. We are all here in Baton Rouge. I've been living here since I came to LSU back in 1989. And just kind of dabbling in the business, but covering sports, covering Saints, covering professional basketball with the then Hornets and now Pelicans, and certainly with LSU and many colleges around the state.
Well, we are thrilled to have you here to expand LPB's sports coverage.
Meanwhile, teams from around the state are kicking off the football season. Week 1 is in the books. Week 2 is on its way this weekend. LSU took on USC last weekend in Las Vegas. A rough start and a tough loss for the Tigers, but Saturday, the Tigers will have their home opener in Death Valley against Nichols. That kicks off at 6:30, and we will take a look at the schedule for other teams around the state in just a few minutes.
All right, and so other big sports news. Tigers Stadium celebrates its 100th birthday this year, kicking off the first home game with sold-out season tickets. The Coliseum-like stadium stands as a cultural icon and hallowed ground for Louisiana sports. Here's a look back at Death Valley and how it got its nickname and its claim to fame.
Chance of rain, never.
On home game days, Tiger Stadium becomes Louisiana's 5th most populated city,
with more than 100,000 fans filling the stands. As Tiger Stadium turns 100 years old, some things change and others remain constant. The Golden Band from Tigerland, whose fan base never falters regardless of wins or losses, fires up the crowd with the fight song. At any given home game, James Manasseh sits in the press box named after his father, former LSU Sports Information Director Paul Manasseh, compiling and conveying stats to journalists as the interior public address announcer.
And my job is to help get the information to the computer people, but also to sort of turn that chaos and synthesize it so that it can be understood and I can announce it to everybody that's in the press box. From 1969 until present, I've missed one home game. And that was my freshman year of law school because we were going to have our finals starting on Monday.
In the stands, you'll find LSU superfan Mike Serio cheering on the Tigers.
So far, I've been to 502 consecutive games. I haven't missed an LSU game since October of '83.
And following game day, you can read all about it in the Tiger Rag, owned by longtime sports writer Jim Inkster.
I've been writing a column for Tiger Rag, and we call ourselves the Bible of LSU sports, for 40 years. And when I started in 1985 working for Steve Myers, I had no idea that in 2010 I would actually purchase the company, but I have it now, and we remain the only sports publication of its kind devoted to LSU, and we're proud of that, and we always have things to write about.
Tigers Stadium embodies a loyal fan base that has endured for generations. The iconic structure is a cultural, sports, and social force in Louisiana. Since 1924, the stadium has set the scene for many momentous events that are part of LSU legend and lore. 1959, Billy Cannon's famed Halloween night 89-yard run, the year LSU won the national championship. The 1988 earthquake game, where fans rocked the stadium, cheering for LSU against Auburn with earth-shaking energy that registered on the LSU Geology Department seismometer.
LSU wins or loses on this play, it would appear.
There's just so many unbelievable experiences and games that everybody can share and everybody can remember together.
You've traveled all over the nation attending LSU games in different stadiums. What makes Tiger Stadium so special in your opinion?
Well, number one, it's the fans. It's people from South Louisiana, LSU fans in particular. You know, we like to have a good time. We like to eat, we like to drink, we like to party, have a good time, laugh, and enjoy life.
Mike Serio marked his 500th LSU game in 2023, a milestone on display among the wall-to-wall memorabilia in his Po' Boys and Deli shop in New Orleans. Mike has watched the LSU Tigers play in all types of stadiums and believes none compare to Death Valley.
A lot of people say, they criticize LSU. Oh, we don't have enough bathrooms. We don't have enough concession stands. We don't have this and we don't have that. And you know, that's what makes a stadium unique. You know, I don't think the Boston Red Sox are going to get rid of Fenway Park with the Green Monster. You know, I don't think Cubs are going to get rid of Wrigley Field with the Ivy.
The original Tigers Stadium was built in 1924 as the largest stadium in the South with a seating capacity of 12,000. Over the years, subsequent expansions included the 1936 construction of the North End Zone structure with student dorms. Today, 102,321 fans can fill the stands of Tiger Stadium.
And that makes Tiger Stadium the 7th largest stadium in the world and the 2nd largest in the Southeastern Conference, and only surpassed by a few hundred by Texas A&M's Kyle Field.
The growth is unbelievable. I mean, I remember going out there when you had no upper decks, You know, everything was, you know, metal seats, but it still had this, because of the old nature of it, it still had this aura about it, and this mystique, and it just seemed like this big edifice that was just an amazing place to wander around and be in.
Jim lived in Tiger Stadium as a student in the 1970s when it housed dorm rooms.
I enrolled at LSU in the year of 1977, and in my first game, LSU beat Rice 77-0, which is still the largest point production for an LSU team in modern time. It was in my first game, and I'd never seen anything like it. At that time, the capacity was 68,000, but every seat was filled, and I thought it was the greatest place on earth.
Today, the dorms are closed, and the concrete openings in the Coliseum-like structure are glassed in, but the painted numbers at every 5-yard line remain as a quirky relic from the mid-1940s that made it easier to call night games. Another enduring feature, the open press box.
And I think one of the things with it being open is that the media, everybody that covers it, gets to hear the crowd. Most of the stadiums, they're enclosed, and so it doesn't have that sort of sound, and they don't feel that. But you also have the stadium, the seats are so close to the field. This isn't one of those stadiums where you have a track around it and you have all this other, you know, area around the field. The fans are right on top of it.
Over the years, Tiger Stadium has hosted many notable non-sports events, including Billy Graham's 5-day televised religious crusade in 1970, attended by thousands.
The 1983 International Special Olympic Games are hereby open. Good luck, Special Olympians.
In 1983, Tiger Stadium staged the Special Olympics International Summer Games opening ceremonies, a spectacle of famous names with the Parade of Nations. In 1988, the stadium starred in the movie Everybody's All-American.
I'm special just as long as I keep making touchdowns.
Welcome to the big leagues, Golden Boy.
Today, Tiger Stadium is considered among America's most treasured stadiums by the Historic Stadium Caucus.
The mystique of Tiger Stadium, it's just different than most every place else.
As it stands today, the LSU Tigers can count 4 national titles, 1958, 2003, 2007, and 2019, with hopes for another championship season.
I think every coach at LSU is measured by those majestic seasons. And now if you win 10 games and go to a bowl game and win it, that's not good enough. People demand national championships, and this is a pivotal year for Brian Kelly.
Will you be at every game?
You just insulted me. Yes, I will. And it's just my passion. And it's kind of, I want to keep the streak going.
From hashtags to headlines, here's what's trending this weekend. It is football, football, football. Okay, LSU's first game in Vegas last weekend. Mixed feelings about this. A lot of self-induced penalties, which I feel like cost them the game.
Yeah, you wish the Tigers were playing in the stadium you're looking at right behind us in Tiger Stadium, but at Allegiant Stadium, it was a very well-played game for week one. Highly anticipated with LSU and USC, but to Karen's point, too many mistakes. You can't have 10 penalties for basically 100 yards and expect to win against a good team. You score a touchdown, you can't do a gun signal with your hands because that's going to get an unsportsmanlike. Now you might say, look, that's just silly, whatever, blow it off. But you know what it is? It's unsportsmanlike. It costs you 15 yards. You have to kick further back. USC runs it back, and then they score a touchdown. So it did hurt you. In effect, with those kind of moves, those have to get better. You have to clean that up.
And wow, did Louisiana show up big in Vegas? I mean, social media was ablaze with all kinds of posts. In fact, at Mandalay Bay, they had LSU trumpeters randomly show up, some LSU fans playing Neck.
Playing neck. The two trumpets got pulled out at the sports book, and we have unofficial reports because I wasn't there personally, but the Mandalay Bay ran out of not one, but two different styles of beers. Not the first time we've heard that happen. When LSU plays anywhere, they travel, just like the Saints. Vegas is used to a lot of big things. I'm not sure they were ready for what they got with the LSU fans making their way there and everybody in the sports book having a good time.
That's right. Louisianans good for business when we travel for these games. And Allegiant Stadium, I think they had like the largest turnout for that stadium, like 64,000.
Just under 64,000. Yeah. It was a record for attendance. Now remember, that is also the home to the Raiders. So that's right there sets the bar a little lower than what you would think. Again, Vegas with casinos and shows and everything else. But yes, it set a stadium record there for a stadium that will be hosting the Super Bowl in just a few years. But it goes back to your point of just how well LSU travels. That was an easy trip for USC to make it. But when you had airlines making arrangements for direct flights to Vegas just for LSU fans, that gives you an idea of the demand for Tiger fans.
We have some clout. Now, of course, it's not just all about LSU football. This coming weekend is a big weekend across Louisiana for college football.
Yeah, this is week 2 for college football, and 6 of the 9 big schools in Louisiana all playing home games this weekend. Of course, we're talking about LSU, and they have a 6:30 kick Saturday night at home. But Tulane will be at home against number 16 Kansas State. That's one of the marquee games in the state. Southern will be making its home opener on the Bluff. Grambling at home against Tuskegee. McNeese does travel into Texas. They'll play at Texas A&M. Northwestern State at home. So 6 of the 9 big colleges all playing in the state of Louisiana this weekend for week 2.
And we would be remiss without pointing out that this weekend also marks the first game of the season for the Saints.
Yes, NFL Week 1 happens this weekend, and the Saints will open at home against Carolina and former Alabama quarterback Bryce Young. Big game for the Saints. Why? It's Week 1, but it's also against Carolina, and that means it's a game in the division in the NFC South. Saints have to get off to a good start, and we hope they can do that Sunday afternoon.
Well, we will be watching lots of football this weekend. Super exciting and great to have you with all of your sports commentary and expertise this season.
I appreciate it. We're looking forward to spending a lot of sports. But let's get back to the college game for just a moment and some big names and voices that, well, you're not going to hear them this season. LSU fans will miss 2 familiar voices for at least part of the season. Both Dan Bornay, the Tiger Stadium PA, and LSU sports radio color analyst Doug Morrow stepping back for health reasons this season. Former LSU and NFL running back Jacob Hester will take Morrow's place behind the microphone in the LSU Tiger radio network microphones. I sat down with Hester earlier to talk about the new job and how he feels about taking over for an icon. Full disclosure, a friend of mine and an old broadcast partner from an LSU TV show we did back in the day, Jacob Hester, the new color analyst for LSU football. If you don't hear Jacob on radio, you're not trying. The award-winning OTB here in Baton Rouge and on many affiliates throughout the state of Louisiana, and you can find him on Sirius XM Radio and now the color analyst on the LSU Sports Radio Network. Jacob, thanks for coming in. It's great to see you.
Absolutely. Good to see you. We had some good times together covering LSU, a little bit of Saints, and so it's fun to be back with you.
And I know this is your season with football season. Let's talk about getting the job, and I know this is never the way you'd want to get it. So let me just start by asking you, how is Doug? Have you talked to him? Of course, Doug Morrow, almost 50 years doing this as an analyst, stepping back, which is why Jacob has the opportunity. Have you had a chance to talk to him, and how is he doing?
Yeah, I have, and he's in good spirits, and I've had a chance to kind of text back and forth with him, and an absolute legend. You do anything for 50 years, I mean, you're doing it right. Otherwise, they try to replace you, but Doug was literally one of the best in sports, in college football, and so just like you said, this is not the way that I wanted to get the job. You know, I'd done it before, but not consistently like this. So not the way I wanted to get it done, but Doug has been highly supportive throughout the entire process.
That's great. And from all of us, we hope, Doug, we hope you get better from the surgery, and we hope that you are feeling much better. And we know you'll enjoy listening to Jacob like everybody else. When you did get the call, what did it mean to know that you're coming back home? You LSU fans know you are a player there, a national champion there. Now to call the action back at the school where you started your college career and played your college career, what does that mean?
Yeah, when I started, sports broadcasting like 10 years ago, when I got into sports media, it was a dream job of mine to maybe one day have the opportunity to do this. And so growing up in Shreveport, like, we didn't come down to Tiger Stadium. We didn't have a lot of extra money to come down to Tiger Stadium. And every game wasn't on TV like it is now. And so the Hesters, we were an LSU household, but how we took in the game was listening to Jim and Doug on the call. And we'd rally around the radio. And so if you would have told me when I was 9, 10 years old that, hey, one day you listening to Jim and Doug, you'll be Doug. You'll have that seat and that spot in the press box, I've said there's no way. I was the shyest kid in the world. I wouldn't talk to anybody that didn't have the last name Hester. But for me to have that opportunity, because that's the LSU football that I grew up on. That's the LSU football I fell in love with, was listening to Jim and Doug on the radio. And so for me, just a surreal moment to get the call, even filling in one time in the Rose Bowl against UCLA a couple of years ago, just as a fill-in, that to me was the ultimate honor. So to get the call to be the full-time guy this year, it truly meant a lot to me.
Does it change the way you look at the game? Obviously, for folks, if you don't know, Jacob had a career in the NFL as well, so I know you know the game. And it's one thing to watch it on TV and see it differently than everybody else. But calling the game, does it change now the way you see the game? Because you're the instant analyst. You're telling everybody on the spot what happened.
I do like it because it is so fast. It is fast-paced. And also, like, you have to tell them what happens in the moment, but also you have a partner in the booth, as you well know. I mean, the play-by-play, like, he's got to set up the play. So you're in, you're out, and there's no time to think about what you might have seen on the play before. So it's instant, and it's like, hey, what did your eyes tell you? Yeah. You have to trust your eyes. And as you know this better than anybody, the prep work that you do beforehand, it allows you to go with that fast pace. And so I thoroughly enjoyed it. Good. I felt like the game was about 10 minutes long in Las Vegas, even though, as we all know, it's 3.5 hours.
Well, I don't want to let you go before we talk about that. You do have one under your belt this year. A very well-played game for week one. Not the results Tiger fans wanted. Now you're getting set for the home opener. What did you see, and what was your takeaway from the game in Vegas in the loss to USC?
Yeah, I thought it was a very clean game. It really was. I mean, outside Garrett Nussmeier's trying to make a play at the very end, he has an interception, but it was a clean game. There were not a lot of turnovers or anything like that. There were some penalties that kind of racked up against LSU, but there was a lot of good in the film. You credit USC. They went and made the plays. The USC receivers, they were the game-changing thing for me that led them to victory, and it wasn't like it was a year ago. You watched that tape against Florida State a year ago, there was a lot of bad on that tape. Yeah. There wasn't that. Now, you want to go win the game, you're LSU, but I think you can coach off this tape. This is not a team that's just going to go away. I think they'll be in it for the long haul. They're going to beat some really good teams in the SEC, and sooner or later, you got to find a way to win the opener. You open up, by the way, at Clemson next year, so it doesn't get any easier. And also, I've got to get a win in the booth. I am 0-2 right now. A loss against UCLA, a loss against USC. I lived in Southern California long enough. I paid enough taxes in California. They could have thrown me a victory. But so hopefully this is my home debut. Coming up, I'd like to get a victory here.
I know the home opener is always exciting. The kickoff is 6:30 Saturday night. The LSU Sports Radio Network is on the air about 90 minutes beforehand, and you can listen to Jacob and Chris Blair, the voice of the Tigers, on the LSU Sports Network with LSU against Nicholls, 6:30 in Tiger Stadium Saturday night as Jacob goes for win number one. Jacob, thanks for stopping by. It's great to see you, and good luck all year long. Hope you enjoy it.
I appreciate it. Anything for you, Vic.
Thanks, Jacob. I appreciate it.
Up next, I'm taking you on a tour of the Roque House, an architectural treasure in Natchitoches built by a free man of color during Louisiana's antebellum era. A community-wide effort to restore the home and move it to higher ground recently culminated with the reopening of the Roque House for public tours. Let's go check it out.
Hello, Karen. Welcome to the Picale Roque House. Come in.
Well, thank you. So, Ben, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, the first question is, who is Mr. Picale?
Mr. Picale was a slave born in 1736 here in Natchitoches Parish. Stayed in Natchitoches Parish, was a slave for 68 years. He convinced his owner to sell him his freedom. So in 1798, he bought his freedom for $100, and he immediately started building his house.
Eve Picale built the Roque House in 1803, 22 miles down the Cane River Lake on unsurveyed land between two plantations. It sat there for 170 years before moving to the riverbanks in downtown Natchitoches. The home is one of a few French Creole residences in existence built by a free man of color during the time of slavery in Louisiana.
When he had the house, I about finished in 1802. Saved $100, went to a lady that owned a female slave. He bought that female slave, got her into his house. He gave her freedom through manumission, so she was free. The moment she was free, it was his wife. So he bought his wife's freedom. About 8 years later, he bought another female slave, got her ownership, had ownership, bought her freedom, freed her, it was his daughter.
The Roque House sat closer to the banks of the Cane Lake River until it flooded in 2016. a community-wide effort launched to raise funds for an adaptive restoration. The architecture is French Creole post-en-sill style.
Restoration means you have original plans and you rebuild to fit the plans. This house was built by a poor man. He had no original plans, no architect. He and his friends built it. So we had to figure out how it was built originally.
The walls are a mix of mud and moss, a method of construction called bousselage. The entire house is put together with pegs, not a single nail.
What happens is they put wooden slats in here. They'll go out in the countryside and dig up clay, get moss, mix it up, and put it on those slats and then smooth it all out. Now what you see on top of this is a lime wash. Now the lime wash outside is to stop the boar bees from digging holes inside the house. They'll fill these walls up like a Swiss cheese.
The modest 3-room house has a central living room, a single bedroom for the entire family, and a guest quarters.
Eve Pacal, his wife, and his daughter lived here. And they lived here till about 1818 when he passed away, and his daughter inherited the building. Karen, let's go to the 3rd room in the house, which on this far end, and we were never quite sure exactly what it was used for. Now what we're going to do is take this and turn it into a storeroom for tools. We want to go back and find all the tools are similar to or copies of that he used to build the house and put a sample in here for everybody to see.
Outside, granite panels line a brick retaining wall with names of Roque House preservationist donors etched on its faces.
There's room for 2,100 names. And when we finish, that'll give us enough money to invest and throw off income forever. Then that lets us take care of this house forever. We don't have to beg anybody for money.
That's a good business plan.
And listen, look, we're honoring preservationists.
Ben, thank you so much. I wish you well with your preservation efforts. May that entire wall be filled with 2,100 names.
With your help, we may get a lot of names there. So thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it.
That's our show for this week. Remember, you can watch anything LPB anytime, wherever you are with our LPB app.
You can catch LPB news and public affairs shows as well as other Louisiana programs you've come to enjoy over the years. And please, like us on Facebook, X, and on Instagram.
For everyone at Louisiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Karen LeBlanc.
And I'm Victor Howell. Until next time, that's the state we're in.
Support for Louisiana, the state we're in, is provided by
Entergy Louisiana is strengthening our power grid throughout the state. We're reinforcing infrastructure to prepare for stronger storms, reduce outages, and respond quicker when you do need us, because together we power life.
Additional support provided by the Fred B. and Ruth B. Ziegler Foundation and the Ziegler Art Museum located in Jennings City Hall. The museum focuses on emerging Louisiana artists and is an historical and cultural center for Southwest Louisiana.
And by Visit Baton Rouge and the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting and viewers like you. Thank you.